I've been working several years at Warsaw University of Technology in several different metallurgical labs. There is always plenty of equipment there. Most of those are used several times a month, but one of the key challenges there how to keep it fit, how to fit it in a limited lab space. One of my dreams back then was to have a single device, single platform that could get me from raw elements to powder that we can use for additive manufacturing. The very goal of starting AMAZEMET was actually to have a single playground, single sandbox device to be able to read the powder ultimately for additive manufacturing devices and get all of our needs to get it prepared with a single lab. Initially, we thought that it will require several different devices. Before we started AMAZEMET, I was willing to purchase gas atomizer, plasma atomizer, melting devices of several different types, including arcMELTERs and vacuum induction melters. It was successful. Eventually, we got ourselves found to create laboratory of our dreams. But the troublesome part was there was no space to fit it there. And we had to give up. That's why we had this very idea to keep a single device, a sandbox that could reach all of those needs and create a playground for researchers working with advanced materials, powder metallurgy, and material science. That is what rePOWDER is all about. A sandbox device that can reach all of the needs of different teams, different research areas, and synthesize, melt, atomize, create nanoparticles with different metallic elements, with different metallic systems. Sometimes in our labs, we're using arcMELTER once a quarter, but it was still sitting there. It is still there as a piece of our laboratory, used once per several months. My idea was to keep it in a form of a platform and enable different processes, arc melting, atomization, creating nanoparticles, homogenization, continuous casting within the single platform that will be constantly used by different researchers, different teams, and will be pressed most within different research areas. That is what rePOWDER is all about. Right now in the slide you can observe the very typical small-scale rePOWDER setup with plasma version. Did you ever wonder that, oh, I wish to have a new version of my machine, new laser, new heating platform for my LPBF? And then you have to buy a new device and get it right near the previous one. In our case, it's not an issue. We always treat rePOWDER as something compatible and modular. It is designed the way that each and every feeder melting system frequency can be added on top of single core. In the very slide you can see the central unit that is basically controlling all of the melting systems, frequencies, ultrasonic setups that are possible to be implemented into rePOWDER platform. On the right, there is multi-port vacuum chamber of plasma system. Different feeders, including those that people are designing themselves, or we are designing them, or we are designing new feeders, especially for our customer. We can start small and then upgrade it with new requirements. For example, it is very common that we start with plasma-based system, as we are dealing with titanium alloys or refractory materials. But later on, there is an idea, let's get into new aluminum alloys. Something like scalum alloy, but without magnesium and scandium. Cheaper, higher strength, ultimate processability in LPBF. Then we would like to have setup fit for aluminum-based alloys. It would be best to have induction melter there. it would be best to have induction-based ultrasonic atomizer. Typical case, you would have to buy a second device to get into those requirements. Yet, rePOWDER is fit for a modular complexity. It is possible to add afterwards induction-based setup to have aluminum alloys processed in the most efficient way. There is no need to have a second device just standing there in the laboratory and not being used 90% of time. You can have it in the single platform, in single limited laboratory space, and use it in different modes whenever it's needed. Whenever we introduce something new, feeder, melting system, frequency, it is possible to add it to existing rePOWDER. There is no way that after several years you'll face consequences. Oh no, I bought a previous version of the setup and I cannot get into new experimental challenges that I am facing right now. It is always possible to add new stuff, upgrades, feeders, frequencies into existing platform. One of our first customers already got new induction, new frequencies, new feeders, all of those in the setup that was sold at as the very first one in EMPA Switzerland. Right now in the slide you can see the most complex ultrasonic platform of rePOWDER. Both induction, plasma, different feeders, recirculation. That is everything that we could get starting from the very same setup that you have seen in the previous slide. It is possible to start small and then to upgrade it with new teams, with new requirements of the faculty. It is possible to customize either by AMAZEMET team or by customer himself. For example, recently we introduced Splat quenching device that was designed for one of our particular customers working with my favorite, bulk metallic glasses. The very chamber of rePOWDER was designed that we can fit different feeders, different upgrades as we want. Standard KF flanges enables us to play how we want. If we want to add a spectrometer, not a problem. If we want to add new wire or scrap feeder, not a problem. The very idea was to have something that is as modular as it takes. I know that in each and every lab, sooner or later, and usually sooner, we face that we would like to have something new, would like to modify our existing setup to have certain new capability. And this is how rePOWDER was designed. To meet those demands, to face the consequence that one PhD at one point will decide, oh, I wish to have additional anvil or a hammer inside to work with ultrasonically assisted deformation, for example. Is it possible? Of course. This is why we designed our chamber this way. This is why it's exposed. This is why there is plenty of space around to add all of the things that either our team will design or one of your team members will think about. Another example. Some time ago, one of our customers said, fitting of those rods is really troublesome. 200 millimeters, that is too short. There is not plenty of material to be atomized. Let's make something big. That's why, in cooperation, we designed a bar feeder capable of working with as long material as it takes. Also, we designed there a continuous casting device to create material for efficient processing. If the device was closed, if it was a closed idea and setup, that would not be possible. But rePOWDER, due to its very design, due to the very philosophy of its platform modularity, is capable of being upgraded of anything that we want. And I know that in each and every lab, sooner or later, such requirements will emerge. Talking about progress and upgrades. Right now in this slide you can see two different types of bins we call. Those are arcMELTER buttons that we use as a feedstock for atomization. On the left part of the slide, this is where we started. Typical arcMELTER longitudinal bin that we use as a feedstock, around 200 millimeters long. At the right part of the slide, you can see almost 2 meter long bar that we continuously casted with the new continuous casting and atomization feeder that we have. That was designed with cooperation of one of our customers to meet those requirements. Talking about platform, we have to bear in mind that there is certain map. In this slide you can see map of our upgrades, different melting units, different frequencies, feeders. It's all on the map that we can expand accordingly to our needs. Let's start small, and it's possible to add new things whenever we need them. We always bear in mind to keep our customer satisfied throughout the years. And we know that expanding rePOWDER platform is essential for our customers to progress with their research. As we expand our portfolio with different feeders, different melting units, different capabilities, such as nanoparticle generation, we realize that our customers already having the rePOWDER platform would like to progress into this direction, and they would like to be able to add it later on with their new research grants and so. Talking about new stuff, there are several different types of upgrades that we are right now introducing. I told you about this continuous bar feeder and continuous arc casting. The other one that we have is powder to powder. There we can continuously feed oversized particles, we can continuously feed blend of different powders to have an alloyed powder in a single step process. The other one that we are introducing is new higher frequency for both induction and plasma version of our setup. There are more and more elements that we have in our backlog or that our customers design or co-design with us. All of those setups will be available on the existing rePOWDER platforms. The very typical case at the universities or different research institutions is I have fixed budget. In my grant application, I could only add equipment up to 2,000, 300,000 euro. That's tops, it's fixed. There is nothing more that I can fit into the budget. In our case, it is possible then to set up a platform that will fit needs of this particular project. For example, it will be equipped only with plasma or induction module, and later on add other parts in new proposals. For examples, recently we progressed with one of our customers from Germany, University in Munich, added new melting devices into their existing setup. The other thing that we can do there is to co-finance it with help of our partners from Siemens Finance. For example, if we are saying that a capability of designing new alloys, new powders for certain R&D application will be beneficial, it is possible to finance it with help of Siemens Finance. Then there is no capex in front required. Working at the university, I hated when I bought new equipment, and after half a year there is something new with better capabilities I am unable to get without getting completely new version of the setup. In our case, rePOWDER is future-proof. Whenever we introduce new part, new upgrade, it is possible to add it to existing system. So there is no situation that you're left behind. Thank you so very much, and I hope that my dream made true will also serve to your benefit. Thank you so very much, and see you in the next episode.